Vienna City Council met in a special session to hear from different agencies supported by the City of Vienna. 12 different outside agencies gave presentations last night about what their organizations do and how the funding Vienna provides to them helps significantly. One of those agencies was the Humane Society of Parkersburg. They had almost 2,800 animals come through in 2024. 129 of those animals were from Vienna. Other organizations such as the Trobe Street Mission, Mid-Ohio Valley Health Department, ARC of the MOV, and many others presented their missions. To find the full list and what those organizations do, you can go to WTAP.com.